Okay, I need to explain to myself, why am I in this trade? I'm going long, which is a little nerving since the market is under all the moving averages. I guess there will be times when it makes sense to do that. Um, and maybe I should not be so eager to hold for a 2 or 3 to 1 when everything is down on the day chart. But I like that it's above previous day's level, and it tested and it opened above it. There's a lot of things on the lower time charts that I like. There was some news that came out that was really good right here. Good news. It opened above yesterday's level, and it tested a few things and went right back up. So this is a good sign, even though the day chart is down. So I guess I need to make a point to myself that even if the day chart is down, there may be times when you got to go long. And we need to be flexible. I want to be flexible. I want to have more tricks in my bag. I want to have more skills. But like right now, it's making me a little concerned. It's if it hits that pivot there on the day chart, these moving averages, and that moving average coming down in these trend lines, it could get stuck. The question is, should I just go to break even now? Like here it is in the 15-minute chart. It's about not quite halfway to my target. I could go to break even, but these pintails, this could easily come back down and break me even. It's like it is. Look at this right here. So I need to keep my stop, maybe just keep my stop all the way down where it is and let it play out, or just take whatever I can get out of it and be happy, because on the day chart is very bearish and it's hitting resistance. And maybe I shouldn't try to hope for a long win on this thing. And here it goes right back up, which is a great sign. So I really would like to see it break all of this right here. I really would, because my target's actually up here. But, I'm going against the day chart bear. It's not my totally A plus. It's an A setup in my opinion, but not necessarily an A plus. And in that case, maybe I should just take whatever profits I can get and be happy and look for little tiny scalps throughout the day. What I don't want is for this thing to come all the way down here, hit that pivot, and stop me out for a full loss. I just don't want that to happen at all. So I'm thinking, because I'm going against the A plus setup on the day chart, it's only an A or a B plus kind of setup, that maybe I should just take profits while I can and be happy. I'm just trying to hold out here a little longer to see what the heck this thing's going to do. Maybe I should go to break even and break even on this thing, but I don't want to give back everything on this. I'm going to
Order
take
filled.
it. I'm sorry. I'm just going to take it. I'm taking my profits right here, because now it's making a lower high. And it is, lower high. Let me see if I can get that here. A lower high. And if it consolidates under here, it could easily come back down, put in another level. And I could always get back in it, or maybe I should have stayed in it. I know I'm rambling, but the key to this video here is that there are going to be times when the day chart is bearish. Everything's underneath the moving averages, and you should be looking for sell opportunities. That's the A plus mindset. But as you can see over here and over here, how those candles went strong and up, there are opportunities to go long in those situations. Unfortunately, on this day right here, trying to go long, I got chewed up, and I told myself, hey, remember your overall strategy on the day chart. So if I remember my overall strategy on the day chart, I will wait to really put I'll go all in on a long when we have a long setup on the day chart, meaning all the moving averages are going up in this direction. They're all moving up, and you're looking for opportunities to go long in any of these areas, any of this here really, because the moving averages are all in order this way, right? Even when this came down right here, it didn't cross. All right, it didn't cross. It stayed above. And to me, when it does that, especially when it tests, you're looking for long right there. Those are the A plus setups for long. If I'm trying to go long when it's below the moving averages, and technically, yeah, the 8 crossed the 20, and now they're starting to go below the 50. The 8's below the 50 now. Now I'm trying to go long. It's not the A plus long setup for me. However, it could be a B plus setup where I can take some profits. If the internals are looking good, then why not grab a few profits until you get an A plus setup. So I will take some B plus trades, but I'm going to be observing this and seeing how it works out. It could be this thing just skyrockets and you're not going to really know when those days are. Let's take a look at an example, right? If we can find one. Yeah, right here. Here we got everything under the moving averages. All 3 moving averages crossed over, very bearish, right? And then this day was a strong bull day. And this day would have been a good day to trade because it crossed over previous day's level, right? Right here was a great day to go long, crossed over previous day's level, and it was strong, and it just kept taking out resistance, taking out resistance, taking it. You don't know when that's going to happen. So on these kind of days here, when everything's bearish, right, underneath the moving averages and bearish, this kind of day right here, if we can find a B plus setup, and that's as high a quality setup as I can get because it's going against my overall day chart plan, and the highest setup I can find is a B plus. I can't find an A plus in that. A plus is right here when it crosses over, and let's take a look at that. This is an A plus day. We go, it's above all the moving averages now, right? We got a consolidation here where everything is above, and we got a push above previous day's high, and especially in that area, go for it. This day's a go for it day. Why? Because, well, it's an inside bar day, but you could look internally and see where it tests and use that as your stop loss. I like this area for A plus setups. This is a B plus at the most. It's a little bit more dangerous to do that, and that's what we have today on the day chart. We have a situation where price is under the moving averages, and we have it above previous day's level, and it's green. And if we can continue with it up, I can find some B plus setups to take, and I might get back in it somehow, but I'll have to be very careful today. And I like what it's doing here in the 15-minute chart. Look at that nice strong green candle right there. Beautiful candle. And it can consolidate right here for a minute and push up over the top, and it could be what it's going to do. Right here, we want to see it sweep all this and in reverse. A trend line break strategy would be good for today in that area, just keeping the risk low. Don't do a 250. When I have a B plus setup, it's also good for me not to necessarily do a full $250 risk limit on one micro. Maybe find structure where I'm I'm risking 60, 50, or even $80. Something like this, if it were to break right here, and we have a trend line strategy coming down, and it breaks over the trend line, then I can use this little area here. That would be an area stop loss underneath that last pivot, and that may be like an $80 or $90 risk. I don't have to do a $250 risk on that. So maybe I'll look for something like that to get back in it and keep my risk lower because of the day chart B plus levels of trading. So if I get back in it or take any more trades, I will record it. So let's just wait and see. Okay, let's take a look at what's happening. It's coming down. It's developing. And am I glad I got out of it? You better believe I'm glad I got out of it. Okay, I got in right over here when it was consolidating, and I knew not to put my stop there before the bell rang. The bell rang and swept that, and it went right on up, and I got out up here. And you can see that it would have been red again, but I'm still be in the trade. I would still be in the trade, and maybe I should get back in the trade. This is just a choppy 15-minute mess, though. I could see it going down into this area. Sure, anything could happen. Anything can happen. It could actually end up sweeping down here. Now, I'd be really interested in the trade if it swept down here and then started to consolidate and push up. That would be a high quality B plus setup for me as well. But things like this over here, this thing's looking like it wants to roll back down. So Again, what are my favorite setups? I got to go right back to the drawing board with, what kind of trade setup am I waiting for? You know, and, I got to admit, there are other setups that I like to take that are not as high quality, but they're riskier. So either I'll keep my $60 that I made, which $60 better than nothing, or I'm going to take another trade and risk it and make a little bit more. Yesterday I had 400 and ended up the day with like 290 or 300. I lost some because I just wanted to keep trading, and I gotta not do that as well. All right, so I'm going to see if I can find a trend line break strategy here that might work, though. Okay, quick update. Remember I was saying, yeah, I could see it come down here, and that's exactly what it's doing. I wouldn't be surprised if it sweeps that pivot level. And this is all because it's a B plus setup, in my opinion. The day chart is bearish. And yes, you're going to have strong reversal candles. And if you got a good strategy for that, I say God bless you, go for it. I think everybody's got their own way to trade, and I think everybody can succeed if they got a system and they stick to it. My system is, I'm learning my system, and that's what we got to do, man. We got to figure out our system and stick to our system. I can't just randomly keep trading, a bunch of different things that I haven't tested and I don't believe in, right? So now we're red, and it's underneath that previous day's level. So now it's a short. Now we're looking for short opportunities. This is a short reversal pattern setup. Now we're looking for shorts. Does that mean it's going to keep going down? No, it doesn't mean it's going to keep going down. But in my opinion, and my system is telling me, instead of praying for a bounce, which could happen, sure, it could, I should be looking for trend line breaks to the downside. All right. And that's probably what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to be patient. Yeah, you could do a trend line break, and it can go up, and it can be profitable for a 1-to-1, and that's a B plus setup that could work. And I was actually thinking I'd do that if it swept the bottom down here. What it did is swept this bottom, these bottoms here. It keeps chipping away. This NASDAQ is almost daily, almost every day, doing these kinds of sweeps where it just keeps going down lower and lower and lower like that, and creating these bullhorn effects where then it goes higher, and then it goes higher, and then it goes higher, and then just lower, lower, lower. This is the hardest market to figure out, but the most rewarding because it moves fast and I like it. So I don't know if I'm going to take another trade. I don't like giving back my profits, but here would be a kind of like an interesting short setup. Get it close to that pin tail as possible. If price comes up to that pin tail, short, and then if it goes over it, get out. So that I love these really small, like 5 tick, literally a point, 2 points risk. That's also in my B plus setup strategies. Like right there, see how it just went over that a little bit? Let me get in there real close. I like those kinds of setups. They don't always work, but they were very cheap to take. When that green candle went over the top, when it started turning red, go short. Stop is right there. And you can get a 1-to-1 pretty much on those. If you're quick and the entry's right, you can get a 1-to-1 on that easy. It went to the 1-to-1 right away on that same candle, but you got to be quick on that. What is the risk on this? Maybe I can take a trade right here. So I'll let you know if I get into it. Okay, if I've got my mind wrapped around it now, I would. This is it. Enter on as it's turning red after it. The reason why, look at the moving average. All of them are expanding down. The 8, the 20, the 50, the 200's going down. This whole area is a beautiful short setup. You got it coming back up to test, starts to turn red, and then it does a double test, even better. And then right there on that red, just as it's turning red, what happens is if it reverses, you get out really, really quickly. And it looks like I would have only been risking like $35 on that, something like that. And now look at it, it's already down nicely already. So that's something I would be interested in looking for if it continues down. It's nice to be able to kind of call things before they happen and kind of know the possibility of what could happen. And I'm using the day chart to help guide my thinking on that. And it's nice to see, you be right once in a while, because it sucks to be wrong on every trade, but sometimes we get it right, and boy, is that rewarding. Okay, we have a trend line break possibility for a B plus setup. Just look on the 15-minute chart, which guides me quite often. You see just all these moving averages are just tight right here, which, indicates that this whole area could just simply be a range. And that's a pretty big range if we're buying down in this area and getting back up into this area, which would be great. There's nothing wrong with playing a range for B plus setups. I guess I need to keep my mind wrapped around the idea of B plus setups, because when I get in, I want to try to just get a quick pop, a 1-to-1, take some profits. Don't try to hold it for a big run. And sometimes you miss a big run because of that. But, you have to have a system. You got to keep to your system. I can't emphasize that enough. Drill it into my own brain. System, process. And every system and every process misses opportunities because their system is their system, and you got to stick to that. What works for me? What am I going to start to really look for and stick to that? And everyone's different, and you can't trade like everybody else. You got to trade like yourself, man. So who cares if it's missed? I got to get that through my head. It doesn't matter, oh, I should have stayed in it longer. That's not how my trading system is. My trading system isn't to take a B plus setup, not an A plus, a B plus setup, a secondary setup, and think I'm going to get a home run out of it. That's not how my system works. Okay? So I've got to understand my system. And when I'm taking a trade outside of my A plus playbook strategies, and I'm looking at a secondary setup strategy, I have to understand that, hey, it may go forever and be a big winner, but I'm not counting on that because of the setup itself. I like this right here. I like the consolidation. I hope that this little area would be a good stop loss. If it takes up over this trend line coming down, I might be able to get a 1-to-1 on this right here. So that would look like this. And then the stop loss would be somewhere down in this area right here. Let me see what we got here. Let's see. Oh, anyway, if I take the trade, I'll record it. I just got to ask myself, do I really want to take a trade when it's hitting these pivots down here? All right, coming back up into the bottoms of those candles, and in all three moving averages are stuck right there. Yes, it could go up, but is that really the kind of trade that I want to take? And it is if I can keep my risk small. I'm not looking for a $250 A plus setup. If I can get, like I said, if it breaks right here, I'd be looking to possibly try this setup right here where I keep the stop loss under there and look for a 1-to-1 return on it. It's definitely possible. Now, if it comes back, if it goes over the top of that, I'm really toying around with the idea of trying this. Keeping my risk small, though. I'm not looking for a big home run here. And try it.
Order filled.
Okay, I'm going to give it a little whirl here. Maybe we can get a tiny profit on this. Maybe it'll just reverse. I don't know. Maybe I should have never took the trade. It's always good after you take the trade to think about it. And think about it depending on what happens here. It's a riskier trade. It really is. So I'm looking for a quick profit, hopefully, and keeping my risks. I'm going to break even as fast as I can on these kinds of trades and get my stop going here already.
Order submitted.
And just put my sell stop in and see if this thing comes back down and gets me out. Then I'm really just not going to keep taking these B plus setups. As long as I'm hitting something on it, it's giving me something. I could probably take it, but I'm not going to keep taking them if it's a loss, because I've only made 60, and if I lose that, then I'm basically break even for the day, and I'm not going to keep on getting negative on that. So let's see what happens here. Okay, I just took a quick profit on that pop right there, and I probably could have held it longer when I'm taking more risky B plus setups, and I also could have put my stop on break even. But I just wanted to grab an extra 30 bucks, man. And now I'm going to be closer to $100 for the day. Yeah, 83. Well, that's better than it was. I was only up 59. I'll take a quick 20, 30 bucks. Because I know the strategy that I'm using is not a high quality setup. Anyway, I like to record these things. I like to go back and watch it. I like to get into my head and figure out, was I right? Was I wrong? Am I doing this okay? And journaling the trades in a video is helpful. So I don't think I need to record anything else today. That's my kind of trading mentality and what I'm looking to do every day. Same thought process. So I will see you in the next video. Peace. Just for the record, I would have definitely hit a 1-to-1 on that trade And if I wanted to still be on break even or bring my stop to where I had gotten out, I got out right here, which is way early. I would have hit my 1-to-1. I could have got out on this spike way up here. I could have got out at 1-to-1. So again, not holding as long as I need to is a problem. I have options. I can go to break even. I don't have to get out when it's going green. If it's going green, why get out? Let it stay green. So on B plus setups, I gotta admit, on B plus setups, I think going to break even is the answer. On A plus setups, not necessarily breaking even, but letting that thing wiggle and move is probably the best route. That's something I need to comprehend in this video, a very helpful video right here. That B plus setups, break even, take profits, break even fast, take profits on spikes. A plus setups, let it move, let it wiggle. You've got a high quality trade, and there's no reason to get too nervous, and to be more patient and let it move around. So there's a distinction between the A plus and B plus setups and how I'm going to manage those. Okay, overall, it was good to be very, very strict with the B plus setups, because look at this day turning out to be a bearish day, according to the day chart. Look at this 240 or 4-hour chart here. Very bearish, trying to go long when it's looking like that. That's what, those kind of scalping opportunities were good. They're working. But look at this 60-minute chart, how bearish all these pintails and how it's breaking down. I mean, why try to go long in the big picture? It's better to be bearish, right? But I did scalp to the upside a couple of times here. We had a scalp here, two trades that actually, well, one failed and one worked, got out up here on the second one. So that worked. This little quick scalp here, it did come back down and get me out. This scalp barely worked. I just wanted to see if I could catch it up a little bit to that trend line, and that's exactly where it reversed. But why am I not shorting? That's the better way to go. Okay, let that sink into my brain. I need to go short when the higher time charts are strongly going short. Can you go bounce it? Can you catch the bounces on B plus setups? These are all B plus setups. Yeah, but there's A plus setups taking place now. And why am I skipping high quality trades to the downside? That's something I need to really think about.